Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Design Review Committee on Thursday, March 20th at 2025. I now call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. Lisa, roll call, please.
Member Melissa Bates?
Here.
Member Getz?
Here.
Member Johnson?
Here.
Vice Chair Boyd? Here. Chair Jacobson Bates?
Here.
Thank you.
Jennifer, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Be happy to.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the order of the agenda as presented?
I motion that.
We have a first.
Second.
Lisa, roll call.
Member Melissa Bates?
Approve.
Member Getz?
Approve.
Member Johnson?
Approve.
Vice Chair Boyd?
Approved.
Chair Jacobson Bates?
Approved.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to consent items. Lisa, will you introduce, please?
Items on consent are typically routine and will be approved in one motion. The chair will call on anyone wishing to address the committee on any consent item on the agenda which has not been pulled by the committee for discussion. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once, and comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes.
Okay, so we go on to in-person comments. Anybody in the room? I don't see anybody on Zoom with their hand raised. Okay, any committee members, anything you'd like to pull from the consent agenda? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve consent items as you see them.
I move to approve the consent items.
Okay, we've got Bates moved. Rich, would you like to second it? I think she was moving first, so you get to second. Okay, Lisa, roll call vote, please.
Member Melissa Bates?
Approve.
Member Getz?
Approve.
Member Johnson?
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd?
Approved.
Chair Jacobson Bates?
Approved.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to public communications for non-agenda items. Lisa, again, please.
This section is intended to provide members of the public with the opportunity to address the committee on items that are not on the agenda. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes and may speak only once. State law does not allow the committee to discuss or act on issues not on the agenda, except to briefly respond or to ask staff to follow up on such items.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll start with in-person public comments first. This is for non-agenda items. I don't see anybody in the room on Zoom. Okay, so now we're going to move on to discussion items. Again, staff, please introduce item 4A.
The item is discussion and possible action for zoning clearance for planning application 25009 and planning application 25005 to be issued for an exterior paint color modification at 1698 Copenhagen Drive, APN 139-182010, and 1691 Copenhagen Drive, APN 139-182009. The proposed project is categorically exempt from CEQA.
And we'll get the PowerPoint up in just a second. All right, so we're going to be reviewing the exterior paint proposed at 1689 and 1691 Copenhagen Drive. So the existing storefront is here. This was brought to the DRC back in February. The owner at the building to the right for 1691 initially brought exterior paint, which was going to be red, and that would split the building in half. And then we let the DRC know that the applicant on the left-hand side had brought an application in right before the meeting, and we were asked to bring this back and work with the applicants together. So these are the colors that city staff had met with the applicants together to come up with a proposal that would bring more harmony to the project that's presented. We came up with 3 colors. The primary color would be that creamy color on the outside. It will also be on the exterior for 1689 Copenhagen, which is on the left. The woodsy brown will be used as an accent color. For the 1691 building, they're going to be doing the peppery red on the interior, which is around the window, with a slight creamy border around the window as well. Really hard to see. And then it'll also be for the door and the door frame. And then the consistency with the design guidelines. We use the colors that are in the Colors of Copenhagen book with the applicants. There are color numbers in there that we looked up and were able to match with Sherwin-Williams as close as we could. So that's where they got their color palette from for this project. And this is exempt from CEQA. And the applicant is, one of the applicants are here if you guys have any questions.
All right, any questions of staff?
I think she might have either question or.
We're, yeah.
What,
Well, let's hang on just a second. Yes, we definitely want to hear from you, and we have comments, so thank you for coming back.
Just-
I do have a quick question for staff. In regards to the property, I do see that we've got one property applicant here in the room, and this has been agreement with both property owners. I think it's the Pearson Trust.
Sorry, there are 2 applicants. The 2 gentlemen are here as well from the store, and they were involved in the process too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have both,
2,
we have
yes.
everybody in the room?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't clear on that. Thank you for confirming that. Any other comments or questions?
I do have a question. Excuse me, in the written description, it says the peppery color is an accent color with a door frame, outer window, border, and ceiling. And in the picture, it looks like it's basically the whole storefront of that store. I just wanted to get some clarification on that.
So that'll be, it's the interior of the arcade
Right.
under there, just the
Right.
storefront.
Right.
The exterior will, based in
Right.
Copenhagen, will be all
But the red
creamy.
color is on the whole storefront interior part.
Just for Downey's Dress Shop, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
to further that, is it on the top of the arch and ceiling?
She's proposing red on the ceiling too.
Okay, that was going to be one of my questions when they came up, but we already got that answered. Okay, so now we're going to move to public comment. So is there anyone in the room who'd like to speak on it? Come on up and please identify yourself.
Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, it was originally going to be my neighbor.
Why don't you start by, sorry, identify yourself and which
Oh,
property?
Linda
For the record.
Rasmussen, yeah, my parents own the building. Kind of nervous, I don't do this. The people next door, I get the red on the outside you didn't want, and then I thought, well, let's, do the neighbors and let's make it look like one building, even though it's 2 separate owners, we own ours and blah, blah. Anyway, Lisa was kind enough to do with the colors, so I just want to kind of keep the 3 colors, because they were changed several times before I, from my last time here, and I kind of went along with this and that and that, and then I just want to do the cream around the ledge and then the red, but on the inside. But I have to say, the peppery red, the color that we came up with, or we came out with, because Eric Pearson, he went and got me the stuff at Sherwin-Williams. It's kind of more of a little of an orangey, but it is basically almost the same color as the brick that's on my building. So it's not going to be, the peppery, I mean, it was good. Lisa did a great job. I mean, it's difficult when you don't know what's what. And me, I'm I was like confused at this point. But, so yeah, I was gonna have the white up top. It was originally white, but then it went to creamy. Now it's gonna be red because theirs is gonna be the cream up top. So I thought it would be nice cream, you know, not cream and cream, so it's gonna be cream and red. And it was originally the other way around. So anyway, she did a lot of work on the colors. I really didn't, and I just kind of want to get it painted and have it look, I want it to look nice. Obviously, we've been there 60 years. I don't want it to look, bad. But anyway, so I just thought, the neighbors, we work together, and I like my neighbors, and, we want to make it look nice. That's all.
Appreciate you coming back before us, and especially that you're working together. Neighbors, would you like to come up and tell us a little bit about your property and color selection? And it looks like that's a no. You don't have to. Come up to the mic if you would. Identify yourself and maybe the property you're associated with.
John Cordero, 1689 Copenhagen. We just wanted to get it painted, that's all. I kind of got thrown in the middle of all of this, but we would just like, we're happy with the colors that were picked out, and we want to thank your staff for working with us. They put in a lot of hours on this, and we really appreciate them and what they did. Thank you.
Well, you've got a very high-profile location on Copenhagen, and we're grateful, like I said, that you're back, that we're looking at a cohesive approach here so that we have the two properties working together. And committee members, do you have some comments, observations?
Prior to giving comments, if you just want to close public comment.
You know what? I didn't ask if there was anybody on Zoom, but I don't believe that there is anybody on Zoom. So given that I don't see anybody there, we're going to go ahead and close public comment, and now I'm going to turn it over to the committee. Committee, comments? Discussion?
I think it looks great the way they have proposed it, especially the elevation facing Copenhagen. And I think that the red interior for Downey's helps it pop. And as long as everyone is happy with that solution, I appreciate coming back and creating this new proposal. I like it.
I do too. I think anytime the store owners come in and want to paint and make the building and their storefronts fresher and nicer and, more appealing, this is a positive. So, and the peppery is a little more orange, I agree, but I think it's really going to melt well with the cream and the dark brown. It'll be great.
Excuse me, I agree. My concern originally was the red on the face that is on Copenhagen, and I think this is a great solution to the problem, until at least I saw as a problem. So I appreciate the compromise and look forward to seeing the new store paint.
I have a question, and it's on the little door kind of thing above the glass door sign. So that's on the Copenhagen side that's painted cream. There's a door that's going to be a nicely freshly painted trim that's a brown, and it's kind of a weathered wood door. Have you considered doing that an accent color, or is your plan to leave that in the natural wood? Perhaps the staff has an answer to that.
So that was proposed from the applicant to do cream on the door and then the brown as the accent color
So it
around
would be the same as the rest of the building? Because I thought that might be an opportunity to have a little pop of color there. I'm not sure what my committee members think or the applicant thinks. I'm trying to envision the peppery red, nice transition color that works with the bricks on the, and if I'm understanding this right, it's on the interior ceiling. So it'll go up the storefront and across the ceiling, but then the interior side of the arch wall is going to be the cream. Am I understanding that correctly? Okay, so I'm just not sure about the red ceiling in there, but it is out of view, so. Anybody?
Personally, I would prefer it to be cream too, but it's not enough to say no.
Yeah.
I feel like it helps define her space, so I think it's fine.
Well, it sounds like we have time for somebody to put a motion out for approval as presented. And I might add that it would be nice if they had the approval to have the red on the door if they so choose to move forward with it. Can we allow that in a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, just make sure to clarify that in whatever motion is made.
Okay, and that would be if somebody wants to make that motion.
It could be to the extent, just to give you some language, it could be something to the effect of approve the project as proposed with the option to have, I think it's peppery red on the door if the applicant chooses. And you might want to specify what building that is for if you're not talking about both properties.
1689.
It would be the gentleman.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to, just for the audience sake, I don't want to mansplain anything. So it would be an alternative. So as proposed, it would be the brown. The brown would be allowed. And just FYI, the brown doesn't come through as strong on that image simply because city staff had noted that it is a weathered look. So therefore, we used a different filter to give it the weathered look instead.
Okay.
My bad. And
But
so,
wait, Raphael, could you clarify that, though? I thought you just said that it was going to be a cream door with brown trim.
So as proposed, it would be a cream door with brown trim. And as it sounds like the motion would be an alternative to that trim would be the peppery.
No, I was thinking as an alternative to the door.
To paint it either the red or the brown.
Oh, that's a different story. So you need the door fascia?
The door itself.
Yeah, the door fascia.
Okay. And please come back up, because you may have thoughts about that, and we'd like to hear that.
This has been a big process. Can we just leave well enough alone of what we've already decided as co-store owners? Can we just leave it how it was presented from your staff?
Yes.
I think that's what we're saying, aren't
Yes.
we? With
Yes,
with
we
are.
more
Yes.
option.
We just don't put the optional part and just leave it as is. That's
Yeah.
what I'm asking. If that,
Painting the door would strictly be at your option.
Yeah.
You want to or you don't want to.
He doesn't even want the option.
He doesn't
Right?
want the option.
right, Linda? Or,
Whatever you do on your door is fine with
are you
me.
talking about the front door?
No, the one at the top.
The one at the
The
top.
very top.
Can we put the visual back up? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make this.
You're fine.
Yeah.
No, it just,
Can you put the above glass door sign?
you
Okay.
guys, so you guys can have the option.
I thought it would make it pop a
It
little.
would make it pop off the wall.
So right here?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my gosh. It's not
And you can
tracking
see-
very well.
That's up on the screen right now.
Yes.
My thought was it would bring a little visual pop to the,
No,
Yeah.
you know, they,
up, Mike?
no, do whatever you want. They don't matter to me. You do whatever you want.
Okay, we'll take a motion. Somebody have a motion here? Go ahead and make a motion.
I make a motion to,
Approve the colors as they are with the option to paint the door on the eye gable.
correct.
On 1689.
So
So if, just to pull back so we can get this motion correct, so what I'm hearing the committee say is that you're wanting to entertain a motion to approve the two planning applications as proposed, because I believe there's two, with an alternative for, let me get the address, 1689 Copenhagen, to paint the upper door,
Dormer door?
the dormer door in peppery red.
No, well, either color. They can do whatever they want.
In peppery red or cream.
it is
It is
proposed as
proposed
cream
as cream.
Right,
with an option for peppery red.
right.
Or
Yes.
brown.
Okay, we're making this.
So whatever motion should be clear on what colors are appropriate for an alternative dormer door.
I say we approve it as it is.
Do we have a motion to that effect? I have a motion in progress that died for lack of second, so.
I don't know if I made the motion or not, but I second.
Well, I think we need a motion
Yeah.
first.
A
So let's-
clarifying that motion.
Let's take a pause and let's clean up here.
Yeah.
So the first motion was for the dormer, was for approval of both applications, planning application 25009 and 25005, with the optional dormer door to have with the as proposed with cream and the optional peppery.
I did not
Would you
hear a
like to have a
motion to that effect.
Yeah. So if there's no second,
We haven't had a second yet. Is that motion, would somebody like to make that motion?
No, would someone like to
so
second that
moved.
motion?
Okay,
so
Okay, that's fine. We have a motion for the alternative colors to be allowed, and then we need a second on that motion.
I second that motion.
So you're
And then we'll have a vote.
Alternative color. You want two colors. That you have the primary
Yes.
and they have the option for secondary.
Yes.
of the
Okay.
peppery red.
So that's what'll be voted on before the committee.
Okay, so we've got a first and a second, roll call vote, please, Lisa.
Esther, can I have a, so
Yes.
if I wanted just 4A as written, would I vote
You would vote
against?
no on this. Yes, you would vote no because the motion before you would approve and the applicant to use an alternative peppery red.
Or the original,
Or the original, yeah, as an
Green.
alternative.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's still encompassed in this motion?
correct,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay, with that clarity, are we, roll call vote, please?
Member Melissa Bates?
Approve.
Member Getz?
Approved.
Member Johnson?
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd?
Approved.
Chair Jacobson Bates?
Approved, yes.
Passes 5-0.
Congratulations, you made it. We look forward to seeing the paint and surprise us with what is up on top. Meaning there's two choices. Thanks for your return. Very much appreciate that you work together to give this a cohesive look and yet have your own identities there. So, all right, with all of that now done, we're going to move on to 4B. Lisa, or introduction staff?
Okay, we have a discussion and possible action for a sign permit, planning application 24024 for 539 Alisal Road, APN 139143004, for proposed signage, one wall sign, 7.5 square feet in size. The proposed project is categorically exempt from CEQA.
All right, so this one will be short and sweet. So this is for the wall sign at 539 Alisal Road for proposed signage at the newly constructed apartments.
That one.
So because we do not have standards for residential signage, there is a definition for it in our ordinance, but no standards. So without that, we propose to utilize the standards for signage outside of the village, which this signage is consistent with, and this is just for one wall sign. Let's see, so they were newly constructed, 539 Alisal. The wall sign is going to be placed facing Alisal, and it is hand-carved, made of HDU, for a total of 7.5 square feet in size. And again, it's the only sign that's going to be there. And this is categorically exempt from CEQA.
Perfect.
Okay, any questions of staff?
No.
Okay, or anybody in the room like to speak on this?
I emailed him.
Anybody on Zoom? Okay, I'm going to close public comments. Any discussion, committee?
No.
I just wanted to make a remark that it's great to see the construction where it is, and I think we've got somebody in the room associated with that property. Is that correct?
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, just a little background. The applicants to get to this point with this building had quite an extensive and difficult process during transitions with the city. And I'm really happy to see how they've embraced the whole style. And for those of you who don't even know what the heck that sign says, it's kind of hard to translate, but kind of is like live
Hogan
well,
live,
you know? So it's a lovely sentiment. And with that, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second? Okay. Lisa, roll call vote, please.
Member Melissa Bates?
Approved.
Member Getz?
Approve.
Member Johnson?
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd?
Approved.
Chair Jacobson Bates.
Approved.
Thank you.
I think we've got a couple of our applicants in the room. Final Girl, okay, and Sanger, just to let you know, and thank you for being here. You were approved as part of the consent agenda at the beginning of the meeting. We love having you stay in the room. Please feel free to stay. And Final Girl, I didn't get to say this earlier because we just kind of zoomed through, but appreciate that you returned and that you will soon have a new sign. So a bit off topic, but then we go on here. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you might want to know. So committee members, any comments today? Nobody? Okay, well, I wanted to just have a quick comment on our workshop that we recently had, and wanted to get a little feedback, because I know that the follow-up was that you were going to go to city council. I'm not clear on which meeting you were going to do that for instructions on moving forward from the council. Did I understand that right?
Yeah, it's going to be part of my city staff comments. We're going to take that to city council tentatively on April 28th on giving city staff direction based on that to move forward with amendments to Title 11, both Chapter 13 and Chapter 10.
So it'll be after our next meeting that you'll be going. Okay, thanks for the update on that. And I see we have construction in the downtown, our corner that's been vacant for a long time at the corner of Alisal and Mission has the structure starting to pop up. So we're going to be able to see that take shape, which is exciting to see progress. All right, well, I think this is going to be a speedy meeting, city staff comments, or maybe you have a multitude of comments.
Yeah, we have a couple of things going on. So the City Council will be meeting this Monday for two items of interest. The first one is the annual general plan and housing element report. It's something that we took to the Planning Commission earlier this month. So they'll be taking that, and the recommendation is to transmit that to the state of California. The second one is we actually will be discussing short-term rental ordinance. So the city has a short-term rental ordinance that was adopted back in 2014. It's got a couple carve-outs that are causing a couple issues here and there. We touched on it a little bit at our meeting last week, but the staff report actually goes full-blown into what are those issues in terms of permitting, in terms of illegal units that are throughout our community, collection of taxes, et cetera. So hopefully we get a good discussion and some direction there for the City Council on how to move forward. The Planning Commission does have a meeting on April 7th to discuss amendments to an approved development plan, and that's located at 1714 Mission Drive. This item has been recommended by the DRC for approval with conditions, so that staff report will be available, I believe it's April 2nd, but we are currently working on that staff report and the conditions of approval for that. So again, look for that. That'll be the only item that we'll have on the April 7th meeting.
Raphael, please
Yes.
remind us, what's 1747 Mission?
You mean 1714? That's
Oh, is that what you said, 1714?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the old bank building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the DRC, we currently have one item, at least in April. It's a pre-application item for an addition to Cottage Hospital, an MRI room. And then we may or may not have one additional sign. And then currently, the city staff is now processing one pre-application for Frederick Square. That came in last week for conversion of all the upstairs offices into residential units. And then we are finalizing our comments for a submitted development plan for the conversion of upstairs 30 units at 10 Market Square, as well as a 1,000 square foot addition. So because it's a 1,000 square foot addition, the addition actually has to come to DRC. So, but again, we will bring that once we deem it complete. So at this point, we have a lot more questions than we have answers at this point. And that concludes my report.
And on that property at Denmarket Square, there's the progress with the parking lot underway with when replanting, and I noticed there's the wall is freshly painted back there in olive green and.
That so the painting of the wall was not a part of any application, so it is noted. We have a pending application, and again, I'm going to leave it at pending simply because they are proposing colors that are similar. So I don't know what the wall is painted for at this point. And there is a building permit that was issued for the parking lot already, and solely the parking lot.
Okay, well, I believe that concludes our meeting. Oh, we're going to adjourn at 5:30. Had to do that fast.